What's going on, YouTube? Achilles here, and today I wanted to make a deck around Mechanized Warfare. Everyone loves or hates this card depending if you're playing against it or not, and it could be really dangerous in the right kind of deck, and we're really going to try to exploit how great this card is today, with also a couple other cool surprises in here as well, but let's get right into the list. We got 4 Hard Claw, 4 Monastery Swiftspear, 4 Shock, 4 Lightning Strike, 4 Invasion of Regatha, 4 Urabrask Forge, 4 Mechanized Warfare, 4 the Elder Dragon War, 4 Virtue of Courage, and for the lands, 20 Mountains, and 4 Mishra's Foundry. Let's get into these games. Let's see how this monstrosity of a deck will do. Or will it just get run over by its Rakdos or Mono Red counterpart, which is the more aggro-y kind of deck. But on the flip side of that, you play cards like Shock and whatnot that could stop them. So, go either way, honestly. And they are playing Boros Token Control, or it is Boros Convoke, or it could be Domain. It's one of the 3. Looks like we're going to be playing against the Token Control, or maybe he's going to flash in some, whatchamacallits. What are those guys called? The Resolute Reinforcements? But nope, it's going to be the Boros Control. There goes our card. It's okay though, I think this matchup is going to be an interesting one though. I think so. I mean, if I could get this Mechanized Warfare to stick, that would be pretty rad. This is our opponent's version of Mechanized Warfare, which is the Caretaker's Talent. So we drop this, and we will now start to do a little more damage, which is important, of course. Okay, so I'm going to drop Swiftspear. Gonna swing. Do a little damage. Now you could say I could have done that before, but I wanted to see what our opponent was going to do first. But we want to do that, which is fine. Which, yeah, I technically should have done that, but keeping the mana open would have... I mean, it would have been better if they just get lost to the Swiftspear, but sometimes you just don't know what they have. But either way, maybe it was right to do that the way around. But it's okay. Make it work still. So now we are going to make this a little stronger, hopefully. I don't really want another Swiftspear. Don't really want another one of those. So now we make the Foundry come alive. We're both going to attack this. That's a card. They keep both to the top. That's terrifying. Okay, so they're gonna do 2 cards to get rid of it. Really? Okay. Well, at least they're putting themselves in like a really weird spot, I guess. So check it out. I'm going to get rid of this to get our buddy back. Or he never really was lost to begin with, but here you are. I'm gonna pass. And now we are going to do some damage. +2 to be exact. This is literally Mechanized Warfare with legs. I am gonna get the Virtue of Courage set up. And this will do 7, I believe? No, it's 5 because it's a non-creature, I believe. Yep, non-creature. So, the Lightning Strike with Virtue of Courage is gonna be good. It'll keep the ball rolling in the sense of we'll have some cards to look at with the top of our deck. So, it's gonna make our opponent think a little bit. They're gonna get rid of both our cards. Of course they are. You get to draw a couple cards at least. That's good. Our opponent does as well. Alright. So next up we're gonna do it like this. How much lifelink could you gain? I'm gonna try to keep them pressured as much as I can. Plus they have nothing to interact with. Next turn, this is gonna act like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker with the second ability. It's literally like the same amount. The second part, so I can fix my hand trying to get more cards to dish out more damage to our opponent. That's fine. Wow. Here we go. So we're gonna get this ticking again. And a Hired Claw, just because why not? And what's really good with the Hired Claw is... Okay, so make sure I didn't get rid of anything. Non-combat damage. So this will trigger the Virtue of Courage, which is always good. So now they get the Urabrask Forge. You hear my angry dog barking. And yeah. They make a triggered copy. Well, they trigger the Caretaker's talent by making a copy, which is kind of weird. But it stays. Which is interesting. Okay, so... How do I do this? So how about this? We're going to do it this way. I do it like this, so now the Virtue of Courage will trigger. Yes, I will. 1, 2, 3. These are all really good cards. I play another land. I am then going to use another Lightning Strike on our opponent. And yes, we are going to then trigger it again. And this is going to be game, guys. First off, I'm going to buff it up just because I can. We draw another land. We are going to do 1 damage to our opponent. Sure, why not? So then I would go Elder Dragon War and finish him off, but they saw that coming. So we get it done with our monstrosity of a deck that I put together, but it's whatever gets the job done at the end of the day, right? By the way, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff to support the channel if you are not subscribed already. It'd really help me out. Try to get new videos out every day and try to make some wacky ones like this. I mean, it's mono red at the end of the day, but at least it's a different angle to take on it. So I guess that's the best way to put it. I mean, it's like I said, it's not your typical go for like a Callus Cell Sword, Slickshot, Show Off kind of red deck, so you have to give me that. What is this hand? And why would I keep a hand like this? Alright, so hear me out. I'm going to keep this because this card, if I could just resolve one of these, I could fix my hand. So, especially since I'm going first, I don't want to go down to 6. I have 3 lands. I have a turn 1 interaction card, so that's my reasoning to keep it. I can now curve into the Elder Dragon War. It has read ahead too, by the way, which is really good. But doing the 2 damage to the opponent is pretty good too, so. So we're going to go for the Swiftspear to put a little bit of tiny pressure on the opponent, if you want to call it pressure. This is little 1/1 dude. Little 1/2. That's fine. I mean, maybe if I had 2/1/1 spells or something, maybe I would have tried to keep it out, maybe, but I am in no rush to use any of these cards until Mechanized Warfare resolves anyway, so. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, but it's still good to get. So we're going to attempt to resolve the Elder Dragon War number 1. Our opponent probably has normalized. Yep, there it is. It's fine, though. It's going to scare him to know that I have 2 more in my hand. And I might just cast this without playing this next turn just to draw the cards down the line. Let's see. Elder Dragon War number 2. Just 2 damage. Get rid of it. Alright, 5 is the sweet spot, but I'm gonna keep it like... I'm gonna keep it like this. I could draw Mishra's Foundry, which I would rather have to be my 5th land if possible. I want to keep an extra card to discard with this. Alright, the Elder Dragon War number 3. And it resolves. We're going to do 2 damage. Like I said, I'm going to keep this mountain in my hand. I don't need to have more than 5 lands. So I could have mounted into shock, but what's good about this is I could do the 1 damage to whatchamacallit off that on this. So I'm gonna keep it like that. I'll take this 3 damage. And I discard a mountain into a mountain. Oh well. So I'm going to attempt to Invasion of Regatha first over Urabrask Forge, because Urabrask Forge is going to be the card that wins the game, and I'd rather waste all these counters right now. Because if I could get this to stick, then it's over for our opponent. In the sense that if I could somehow keep the game going, you know, because they are going to try to keep the game going anyway, because it's a control deck, but this is just going to be a real pain for them to deal with, so... So I will let that happen. That is, well, it's not going to let them, but that's okay that it happens. And yeah, I mean, I could shock and waste another counter on my opponent right now, which I don't mind because I can make them feel like they're in the driver's seat. But it's like I said, little do they know I have some shock action going on. This card is so good, like I'm saying. It's just, it makes a braid look so good right now. But what about the other colors that don't have a braid? What do they do? So So I'm going to get rid of this. This card's going to be a pain to deal with, so it's scary right now. Like, if they waste a counter, it's fine. Okay. So now I'm going to save the Urabrask Forge once again, because they have a full hand for Mechanized Warfare. This is definitely going to be something they'd want to counter. If not, then it's fine, but I'm just slowly just setting up. And that's fine, I want to counter it. Like I said, if I could get this to resolve, it's going to be so nice. Especially now since they have to worry about this. And if they don't spot removal this, then they're going to have to board wipe or a temporary lockdown or something. So who knows what they got. You know, my one enemy. Just like any red deck's enemies, you know, the third path. I would know. I love this card. What a shame. Okay, now Urabrask Forge looks really good if I could get it to resolve now. If I could draw a third land, I could get around Normalize, but I'm not going to be able to. Instead, I'm going to attempt to resolve this. Maybe I should have attacked first, but I guess I'm too excited to resolve it. Especially now, since I can get this extra damage in. And we swing for 5. Well, we're going to attempt to, at least. Ooh, very fancy opponent. And this will be the beginning of the end, hopefully, for our opponent. Unless they have a way to get rid of Urabrask Forge, which in a Azorius control deck, I'm really trying to think, because I think I was having the same issue where I just didn't have anything mainboarded for these best of 1 games to get rid of it. So there's the problem right there. The white March card is gone, because it was in Kamigawa and that rotated out, so that was a staple and that's out. So now, what are you putting in? So we're going to try to get this ticking now. I'm going to try to get the 2 damage in before I cast it for 5 on my turn. Opponent's going to think about this one. If they counter it, it would be smart. But maybe they have an answer. Who knows? I'm going to play it. If this sticks, then it would be good. I mean, they could easily no more lost. Get lost, that thing. I'm thinking of normalize and get lost. Just look at the card they would fuse into. No more lost. But that doesn't exist. Another one. Oh, I hate Union of the Third Path. At least I hate being on the other side of it. If you're playing an aggro deck, it just hurts. Hurts very much so. No way they have the answer. No way. That is insane. I'm so sad right now, guys. My morale has been crushed after that. Yeah, it's so rough. That was literally like the last thing keeping me afloat. I think so. No, another one. Oh, I am really in a bad spot. demolition field. Alright, so how do I get out of this situation, right, you may ask? Well, it's pretty simple. I either draw an Urabrask Forge, or I resolve a Virtue of Courage, but our opponent has a lot of cards, and I don't think we're going to be able to get this. Yeah, look at all that. I am very much so. I'm going to... Whatever I draw next turn is either going to be the card that lets me stay in this game, or I concede, because if your opponent has a full hand, and if you're just waiting to top deck, I'll tell you one thing, you're gonna probably lose. Oh yeah, look at that.
The weak-minded will be educated in Phyrexia's ways. Retreat is the sensible path. Nothing could be more vulnerable than your memory.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it. Rip. Rip the dream. But it's okay. I'm gonna play one more game, and we're gonna see if this deck could get some warfare going that is mechanized. Alright, let's see what we get into this time around. We get to go first, and I'm going to keep it. Just having the Urabrask Forge is always reassuring, especially with cards like this. Oh, what are they doing this time around? That is so interesting. Okay, let's see. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. This is insane. Okay, we got enough lands, that's for sure. But now we get Urabrask's Forge ticking. So what's their game? Oh my god, another one. So... yeah, this is gonna be weird. So we're gonna go for the Mishra's Foundry. And we're gonna swing for 4. Resolute Reinforcements comes in. Nice try, but I will keep my Mishra's Foundry. That's all I really got. I'd rather get rid of the shock and keep my land creature than just have the shock held up in my hand. They're playing an interesting deck though, so how is this gonna work? You know, they have to get to level 2. It's a very strange deck, but if this Urabrask... another land, really? Alright, game, I get it. So maybe I'll combat trick him again. Let's find out. And I'm gonna do it. Well, I'll tell you one thing, they definitely got plenty of food tokens, so they don't have enough lands, I have a lot of lands. Okay, so now they got a 4th land. They're gonna level 2 it, and they're gonna probably level 2 the other one to get it ticking, or they're gonna gain life. One of the two. Maybe they can keep the mana open, and they do. Alright, so I have 6 mana. I used 3 for this, and I still have enough for my Invasion of Regatha. The Invasion of Regatha is gonna really just be a surprise. I'm gonna kill you with him, but let's see. So we do that. Really get the damage on him. So now our opponent really has to use this food token. Probably the carrot cake. Oh, they're not even gonna do it, but they probably will get rid of the carrot cake because it will generate another whatchamacallit, a little 1/1. So there's that. Biza. That's a problem. Yikes. That is a problem. Wait a minute. 6. So I guess it all just depends. So I have 7, so if I use 5. Alright, so check this out, guys. This is the moment of truth. I'm gonna bait my opponent into... They have to block the token with Biza, which they do, and they double block. That is correct. So we trade the board. They make a bunch of food. So I'm gonna keep both these lightning strikes up, and I'm gonna scare them at the end of their turn by using both of them. Like, they think they're kind of safe at 8, but little do they know they're about to go to 2. I'm gonna do this so they don't draw a card right off the bat, because we have the same amount of cards now. Okay. I'm gonna keep it up. Might as well. So now our opponent has to block this, or they lose. But they also have the food token, so technically they're chilling. But we are just gonna put all this pressure on them. We're trying to win. So we get them to 8. Go for High Claw. Gonna get the ability off so he gets a 1/1 counter on it. That's it. Now it's really cool. If we had another mountain, I could have went lightning straight next turn, then used the ability again. But we're gonna slowly get milled out now. But I think it's too late in the game for them to mill us out. But at the same time, it's kind of scary to think about. But they could just go for the snake, right? That's actually a really cool combo to think about. Like the sacrificing all the things to bring it out, but even with that, I'd still be alive. I have 40 cards in my deck, so it's going to be very interesting to see how our opponent's going to close this on us. But I do like what they're doing. Okay, their opponent is going to get rid of our Hired Claw, which is A-okay. So we draw a very good card that we're going to use right now. We will get rid of the 1/1 and do 2 damage to our opponent. So they get a bunch of food. We're going to attack for 7, which unfortunately won't do the job because they will just gain a little bit of life. But what I think now is, though, next turn will be the kill turn. Maybe. This is still kind of rough, though. I could draw one good damage spell on them. Yikes. So they go for Biza again. This is actually going to be a problem. I'm going to get milled out. I might get milled out. This is insane. Alright, opponent. I'm gonna have to do 3 damage to you now. It's because you're getting a little antsy over here on my side. But this is where I'm gonna draw the card I need by getting rid of this, right? So I got another lightning strike. So we go for another bees. Well, not another bees, we go for another forge token. We're gonna hit our opponent. They're gonna absorb a lot. Getting down to 8. This is terrifying. This is honestly like my worst nightmare right now. Alright, I got 13 cards left in my deck. So 12. So I do this. So first Inspector hits the board. So how am I gonna get around this? That's the real question. That goes to level 3, so now they could do it twice, and then I will lose. So now they're gonna sacrifice twice the amount. That is insane. I'm not even mad I lost to this, but that is so cool. So they're gonna do it again. Gain the life. It's one crazy deck against another crazy deck. I have 4 of these, by the way, in my library, so I'm so inspired by this right now. So then it triggers again, and I will... I love it. It's so good. You can't even be upset losing to this, because it's a fragile deck too, because if you think about it, you play against one temporary lockdown, and bam, you lose all this, you lose your ossification, so it depends on the matchups at the end of the day. But this one got me, and I loved it. It was great. I don't mind losing to crazy decks like that. It's very spicy. But anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day. Take care.